Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting interview by Financial Insight. We are currently at the Africa Works outlet in Lusaka at the Agora Village, where I'm about to have an exclusive conversation with our friends at FQM. Yes, FQM had a big announcement come out earlier this week, and we felt that it was important to just reach out to the management team there to kind of get the insights into the deal that will see them further expand their operations in Zambia. So stay tuned for my conversation with Anthony from FQM Zambia right here on Financial Insight. Welcome back. As I'd indicated, I'm going to be speaking to Anthony, who is dialing in from abroad, where he's on assignment. Anthony, how are you doing? Can you get me loud and clear?
Yeah, I can get you loud and clear, Mwelwa. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, and thank you so much, for coming on the show. We know you do have a very busy schedule, but we're just super excited to finally get to host you on the Financial Insight Show.
Thank you, Mwelwa. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Absolutely, absolutely. But then we know that you've got a very busy schedule, and we just want to get straight into it. Recently for our viewers, FQM made an announcement regarding a $1 billion gold streaming agreement with Royal Gold. Now, this particular conversation is basically to understand further, what the implications, and the country head, Anthony, is going to tell us a little bit about this deal. But before we get into that, Anthony, are you able to just introduce yourself to our viewers and what your role is at FQM?
Thank you, Mwelwa. My name is Anthony Mukutuma. I'm the director for Zambia in FQM, and I've been with FQM almost 22 years now. And my role is really to look after the operations in Zambia for First Quantum Minerals.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, when we get into the deal itself, I think many of our viewers just want to understand, the structuring and just basically the overview of the agreement. Are you able to just walk us through this recent $1 billion gold streaming agreement with Royal Gold and what this deal means for First Quantum Minerals in Zambia and as a country?
Yeah, thanks, Mwelwa. I'll try to be as clear and as simple as possible. So earlier this week, FQM announced the 1 billion streaming. Streaming agreements have become increasingly common from financing as a form of financing in mining. And this streaming deal represents the largest of its kind globally this decade. So basically what it means is in exchange for an upfront payment of $1 billion, a Canadian subsidiary of FQM will deliver to an American company going forward an amount of gold credits. Each quarter and calculated on the basis of Kansanshi's production each quarter. So linking the gold credits to the production at Kansanshi ensures that FQM is not having to make big payments in those periods that the gold or the copper price drops too low, or if the production on one of the sites is disrupted and drops. So that then protects FQM. If you want to think about it in simple terms, a gold credit is essentially a document that entitles the bearer to some physical gold somewhere in the world. You can think of it as being similar to the US dollar before 1971, before they delinked it from the gold standard. So that's basically what it is. This transaction will not affect the operations of Kansanshi in any way, as the agreement is between a Canadian subsidiary of FQM and an American company. Nor will it in any way affect any of the agreements that we have in terms of copper sales or gold sales, which at the moment you might be aware that a portion, about 60% of the gold dore or the gold bullion that we produce at Kansanshi goes to Bank of Zambia, and it has gone there since 2021. So that remains unaffected in every sense of the word. And it also does not affect any of the tax or the royalty payments to the Treasury or the royalty stream specifically that goes to ZCCM IH, because this is happening at group level. In terms of income statement and balance sheet at the Kansanshi level, what you will see is that our books will look the same. There will be copper that's produced times the price of the copper, gold that's gold tonnage multiplied by the price of gold. That will give you the revenue line, and the rest of the income statement will look the same. As you can see, in simple terms, that 1 billion gets amortized over the period of that agreement. As part of this agreement as well, what we saw was that there was a commitment by the counterparty to also support the CSR programs that FQM does in Zambia to the tune of about $4.5 million over the period of the agreement. And this really came from Royal Gold saw the CSR programs that we do in Zambia, and they were very impressed with some of the work we do in education, with the farmers, in schools, in infrastructure, and a lot of the positive things that we did last year on securing power supply for our mines and supporting ZESCO to make sure that there was enough electricity coming onto the grid to make sure the grid was stable. So they saw all that volume of work that we do that is very positive, and said, well, with this agreement, we would like to get involved with some of the CSR work we do. So it's very, very positive in that sense. Now, the stream significantly strengthens FQM's financial health and bolsters our ability to continue to invest in Zambia in a way that you've seen us do recently, and in a way that we've done since 1996 when we first got into Zambia.
No, this is very, very interesting, and obviously it does shed more light, regarding how, not only did FQM seek out this innovative, I must say, method of financing its operations. But I'll turn your attention now in terms of country confidence. How confident are you in Zambia's mining jurisdiction, and what factors to this confidence, especially after this significant investment in Kansanshi mine? Because obviously, even the facilitators, as you indicated, had looked obviously at the work that you were doing in Zambia, but then also from a regulatory perspective. How confident are you?
Mwelwa, I'm really, personally, I'm very confident. But as a business, as FQM, you will know that we've been in Zambia, it will be 30 years next year. And we've continued uninterrupted. We've continued to grow over those years. And we have been more encouraged in recent times by the relative, stability in the tax and royalty rates. But given the unpredictable nature of commodity prices and the fact that investment, decisions in mining sit with you for decades. When you invest something in mining today, you don't get a return tomorrow. I know there's nothing in mining like a payback period of a year or 2 years. Everything is sort of in the 10 to 15 to 20-year timeline. So the mining business is uncertain enough as it is. Constantly changing the parameters, and a fiscal perspective is what makes a country investable. So we've seen over the last few years that there's been stability on the tax and royalty side, and that's allowing us to invest a lot more into Zambia, and our confidence has increased, given we've been in almost 30 years. So we've fairly been very positive about Zambia. We've supported Zambia, and Zambia has supported our business for 30 years. So confidence on our side, very, very high. Aside from the policy, stability, Zambia's attractiveness as a mining investment also is underpinned by its history. People in Zambia know mining. They understand it, and they see the benefit mine brings to ordinary people when mining business is run or done by a company that understands it well and manages that operation well. And we see that as important. And gaining and keeping a social license is really key to successful operation of any mine. So now we've understood that very well, and we continue to see Zambia as extremely attractive. I mean, there's also the education piece. I mean, First Quantum is very lucky to be in Zambia because that gives us a pipeline of talent, of very hardworking people, of well-educated young Zambians into the workforce each year with the universities that are in Zambia. Long time ago, there were 2, but now there's a whole host of them. And many of these young people come into our business with, specialist knowledge and training, and also with a history that they understand exactly what they are getting into. And with mining being such a huge contributor to Zambia's economy, that is perhaps not a surprise. But there aren't many countries where mining is such a meaningful part of the economy as Zambia. So yeah, that sort of puts Zambia into perspective when you look on the global map. And we need to continue as Zambians, you and I, Mwelwa, to make sure that that continues to be the case, that we understand what mining is, and we make sure that we are countering any misinformation, to make sure that we can create an economy on the basis of what Zambia was initially built on. Now, we obviously grow mining and we start to diversify the economy, but the key is we need to build on what we have, and that is mining.
Now that the gold streaming agreement has been, secured, from an operational perspective, what specific impact would this agreement have on FQM's operations in Zambia, particularly at Kansanshi, and how will it influence your future investment decisions in the region?
I think it's important, first of all, to try and point out that in terms of operations in Zambia, both at Kansanshi and the Trident mine, which is the other FQM mine down the road, is that there will be no adverse impact on the operations. In general, it will be business as usual. We will continue to produce gold and copper, and we'll continue to sell gold and copper as we've done to our customers. And we'll continue to pay taxes and royalties as usual. And we'll continue to employ over 20,000 Zambians as we do currently. But what we do get is added financial flexibility, which means that we can continue to support ongoing investments in Zambia with confidence, including additional exploration at Kansanshi and at Trident and in the northern part of Zambia, and with the various sustaining capital that's required to keep the big mines that we run in Zambia going. I think the figure that we saw that we put in the public a few weeks ago on one of the videos we did was, apart from the 1.2 billion investment that we put in S3 over the last 2 years, cumulatively, we've invested in Zambia, S3 plus sustaining capital, we've invested in Zambia just over $2 billion. That's a significant amount of money to put into a country over a period of 2 years. So this flexibility will allow us to continue to make those kinds of investment and to make sure that we can continue to grow our exploration teams and their work around their mines, around our mine sites, and in the northern part of Zambia where we are, particularly in Mukushi, we can invest more on the exploration front. And Mwelwa, you will know, you are sitting in an office there, which is for an exploration firm. Exploration takes a long time, and exploration costs a lot of money. So that flexibility on the financial side can allow you to do those kind of things, do exploration for 5 or 10 years, discover a deposit, and build a big mine. So that's really important for us. And that's what we see, that will be the operational impact in Zambia. You will see a lot more activity out of us as FQM in the coming years as a result of the transaction that we've put across the line.
The deal itself, obviously does offer FQM, some financial resilience. Are you able to share with us, what strategic priorities will this financial flexibility, as you call it, allow you to, to pursue or to accelerate?
Yeah. I think I've touched a lot on the subject already. The resilience that we get out of the transaction is that we've got a lot more confidence to invest. We've got a lot more breathing room or headroom to make decisions that might be long-term because we've got liquidity to do it, or we've got lines to actually finance them. And I talked earlier about prices of copper and gold. These will always fluctuate. We've seen the nickel price go up and down, the copper price up and down. We've seen gold price go extremely high at the moment, but every commodity, the prices are not in our control. And we know that there can be a disruption in the markets round the corner, and commodity prices then drop. And you need to be confident that even when that situation comes along, that you still can continue to make decisions for the long term, you can continue to invest. So we have no control over the prices of the goods that we sell, but this injection of cash into a Canadian subsidiary will mean that as a company, we can justify continuing to invest in Zambia and in a broader range of microeconomic scenarios with confidence,
Absolutely. As we draw to a close, obviously, Financial Insight reflects on, the leadership perspective for the growth of FQM. As a leadership team at FQM, what's your outlook on the company's growth trajectory, and how does this agreement fit into your broader strategy for expanding operations and creating value for stakeholders?
Yeah, thanks, Mwelwa. FQM has always been and will always be a growth company. You might know that we will be welcoming the President of the Republic of Zambia to the opening ceremony of the S3 plant in about 2 weeks' time, on the 19th of August. S3, like I said earlier, is a 1.25 billion investment that our team has been able to deliver. That is design, engineer, construct, on time and on budget. And the budget at 1.25 billion was extremely tight right at the start. We knew that, but we delivered it on time and on budget. That is incredibly rare in mining and in the execution of projects of this magnitude, more broadly in a global context. So we are proud of FQM's expertise and continued success in developing projects of this size. It's the project execution abilities or expertise of FQM that really differentiates the company FQM from its competitors, and it's what creates value for the stakeholders, reliably turning our promises into jobs, into government revenues, through taxes and royalties, and into returns for our investors, which is where the money to do the things we do comes from. in the first place. Royal Gold now forms part of that pool of investors. Without whose support, building Kansanshi and Trident would never have happened. So yeah, we are a growth company, and our investors invest into our business because we focus on growth. And bringing more and more investors on our books means that we can focus on being what we are, which is a growth business. Zambia is, if I just turn the spotlight on Zambia, so we can just delve into that a bit more. Zambia is really where First Quantum was born as a company. So although our next big projects might be in Peru or Argentina, which is where we've got the big projects that are well advanced, that are of the size of a Kansanshi, we will continue to do exploration in Zambia because we understand Zambia well. I've labored the point around the many positives about Zambia and so on and so forth. Yeah. But that exploration piece is important. We continue to do exploration in a big way, both at Kansanshi and at Trident, and we are seeing some very, very positive results. We are also supporting or investing in some of the juniors that are around Zambia who are doing exploration, so that if they have a big find that is of interest to us, that we can invest into that, and that forms part of the feed going into Kansanshi or into Trident. So yeah, it's all about Zambia for us. Zambia is important, Zambia is big, and yeah, our investments, you will see growth, and a lot of that growth will be in Zambia. Some of the growth will be in South America, and so on and so forth. We are a global company, and will continue to be so.
Anthony, this has been such an insightful conversation. I do have one more question around, when you reflect on, the structuring of this deal, and you've just talked about, prospective junior miners who, FQM would love to work with, especially when they've got substantial fines. Do you see this type of financial instrument as being something that Zambian miners could also probably tap into, especially going forward, now that they've got a big brother in FQM that they can look up to?
Definitely. I mean, with the transaction that we've just done, I think there'll be a lot of investors out there that look at Zambia very, very positively, in the sense that here's a company that's put in $2 billion in Zambia over the last 2 years. And there's an investor that's confident that that's the right thing to do. That's a lot of kudos on Zambia, because if Zambia was risky, everyone would be looking at FQM and thinking they've just invested $2 billion in a very unsecure country. But no, we've seen positivity come as a result of the investments that we've done. So I think a lot of the companies that are operating in Zambia, juniors and large ones, can take a leaf off this and know that the environment in Zambia, investment-wise, is positive and is viewed positively by investors around the world, and also be able to know that they can invest in Zambia. So investors will be ready looking for projects in Zambia that are really good. I mean, to be clear, there's confidence in the country, which is very, very positive, but there's also confidence in the company that executes, that you can turn your promises into projects. So my encouragement to the small companies in Zambia and the large ones that would be looking to do any financing of any sort would be, yes, you need to also be able to demonstrate that you can actually execute.
Absolutely. No, thank you so much, Anthony, for taking time to speak to us and, just sharing key insights of the recent announcement that came out of FQM. We do hope to engage you further to get more updates regarding any updates, and we also look forward to covering you guys in the next 2 weeks at the official launch of the mine.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mwelwa. I think it's been a good discussion, and I think it's important that we do get to talk about these things verbally. Writing and talking is, when people hear these things, it's much clearer. Thank you very much for your time, and yeah, I look forward to further engagements in the future.
Absolutely. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have been speaking to the country head for FQM Zambia, who's just shared with us key insights on their most recent announcements. Stay tuned to all our platforms for further announcements that come out of the mining sector. I've been your host for this particular interview. My name is Mwelwa Kenneth Chibesakunda, and as we always say, Financial Insight, get to know.